In this video, I'm going to show you the most up-to-date methods of using Claude Code to build things really quickly, some ways of thinking about it. But before we get into that, I wanted to show you what the end product was before you actually see me build it. So come over here, take a look. It'd be really nice to be able to chat with an entire YouTube channel. So in the video, you'll see I build an entire flow to create an MCP app. This lets me search right in Claude and say something like forward deployed engineer channel chat. Find something good. And just so you know, I downloaded about 50 videos. It says found exactly what you're looking for. There's a dedicated YC video with Bob McGrew specifically on the FDE. So now it pulls the video inline, explains why it's being shown. Bob McGrew explains exactly what a forward deployed engineer is and why it's become the dominant model. The cool thing here is that I can expand this into its own custom interface, and I can read, I can even press play. Very cool. I can navigate consulting or real software, 1435. I can navigate through these transcripts. I can even ask contextually what we're talking about. What is this part about? And you'll see it start to think over here. And it's going to read the context of where we are in the video. 1355, we're talking about training ground for founders section. So it's kind of cool. But anyways, let's get into the video. Hey folks, I've got this super extensive plan to basically build this Cloudflare based channel chat downloader thing. Download an entire channel of YouTube videos, chunk them, embed them, store the video and the chunks, and then be able to search through them via an MCP server. It's a fun project that I wanted to see. And so Claude has made this big long plan here and it looks good. And here's the trick. Right now, January 29th, 2026, I'm going to say two things. I'm going to say atomic commits and use tasks and parallelize where possible, please. This ensures efficiency. For whatever reason, out of the box right now, Claude doesn't want to use parallel tasks and doesn't want to use tasks in general. So right now, I don't know if you saw this, but it had one explore agent and now it's running 4 of them. In every instance, we have found that just throwing more tokens at something is better for results. You see this across every single benchmark. This has been just how things work. Throw more tokens, throw more reasoning, throw more time, and in general, the results improve. That's what I want to do. Rather than one explore subagent using maybe 65,000 tokens, I want, like it's doing here, use 4 explore agents, and they're each going to use double the tokens, right? 130,000 probably, somewhere around here. So once this is done, you'll see it actually create a list of tasks, and then it's going to assign dependencies to those tasks. It basically creates itself a Ralph loop. It assigns subagents that don't take all of the context and don't contribute to the overall context window. Opus has a 270,000 token window, and this just used 120,000, but we're only at 16% context because these were subagents and they didn't fill up the context window. I said use tasks and subagents to perform this work. Some is dependent on others. So it started to do this, as you can see, sequentially, but I want it to use tasks. And for whatever reason, it doesn't default it. It even resists doing it. But what you'll see here, running 2 task agents, create Cloudflare config, create Cloudflare source types, create Cloudflare database module, create Cloudflare Vectorize module. Okay, so it's running these 4 at once. We'll see how it does. I'm surprised that the UI isn't showing up. Like, again, it should be like these orange check boxes. The CLI is changing like sometimes multiple times per day. And what worked yesterday perfectly, like if I said use tasks yesterday, it would have created these 4 check boxes And then it would have said, this one's dependent on this one, this one's dependent on this one, and then it would have churned through it. The 4 task agents finished with basically setup and used 50,000, 70,000, 90,000 tokens. So we've used already over 200,000 tokens on this task, and we're only at 20% context. So this is great. Use subagents. I am missing that interface, the nice little checkboxes. Checkboxes make everyone feel better, I think. But I'll see if I can trigger that. I'll also look at the change log and see if they remove that in .23 for whatever reason. Okay, just to check in. So it did four tasks here. What did I say? 90,000 tokens. It did 3 tasks here for the MCP, the API, and the worker entry point. So this is another 90,000. So we're at 180,000 here. We committed that stuff. Phase 4, local CLI. Oh, wow. 80,000 tokens on just this. So what did I say? 180 plus 110, 290,000. And then it finished that, and now it's on phase 5. So we're at 300,000 tokens, basically 360,000 tokens. And our main orchestration agent has only used 24% context. This is why you need to say tasks. Because here's where it wants to go. It wants to go do everything linearly by itself. And that's going to just eat through your context window. It's going to compress. You're going to lose performance. But when it prompts these subagents, it's literally passing the information that these subagents need to know. And then what we can do after this is say, okay, now use subagents to test each thing individually. Okay, so it says it's done. My default is I simply just do not believe it. And so I'm going to start developing a plan with it to test everything with subagents. So here I'm just saying we need to test every single step. How should we work through it in a way that makes sense? Are there gates, dependencies, etc.? And once we figure out those dependencies, what I'm doing here is I almost typed, hey, use subagents, tasks, test everything. But actually I want it to reflect a little bit, plan a little bit, think about everything that it's seen. And yeah, see this, there is a clear dependency chain. Here's the testing order. This is fantastic. And it needs me to log in, and that's fine. So this is exactly what I'm looking for before I start performing big bodies of work, is if it just went into it, I don't know that has reflected on it, planned, seen the entire picture. And so that is why at every major step, you want to be making a plan, even for testing. Now, again, I could tell it to just do these in phases. They're sequential. You can't parallelize this because they depend on one another. And so, why use tasks? The main reason I want to use tasks is, and I'm going to tell it, can you use subagents via task for each phase just so you don't blow your own context window? I want it to maintain this overall picture. I don't want it to compress anything. And so that's why I'm just going to ask it to do this. It prompts this subagent here. Let's look at the full prompt. Okay, it tells the subagent you're testing phase 1. This is the working directory. Run these commands in order. Report the success or failure of each step, the database ID, the deployed worker URL. If any step fails, stop and report the error. Don't continue to subsequent steps. So this is really great. And this is its thinking. Let me use task subagents. This makes sense. Let me start with phase 1. Each subsequent phase depends on the previous one. So I'll run them sequentially, not in parallel. Okay, great. Phase 1 complete, worker deployed. Oh my God. So this testing, task 2, done. D1 queries are working. R2 storage test, done. R2 working with range support. Indexing API test. Indexing pipeline works. Search API test. Search works with good relevance scoring. And we're literally we refactored this entire thing to use Cloudflare, which wasn't in this project whatsoever. I went from Python to Node and then now to Cloudflare. And this entire thing is at 31% context. Yeah. Oh, it's done. Phase 6 block needs R2 API credentials. I need to go there, make the tokens. Okay, I'll go do that. It literally took me longer to do that than for it to rewrite everything here. Just finding it in the Cloudflare dashboard. And it's going to do phase 6 real video indexing test. So The funny thing about Claude is I think it will literally choose like Rick Astley's channel or something like that, which is hilarious to me. And we'll see how it does. So Claude is prompting Claude and it's saying, hey, you're doing this, you're testing this phase, verify that these are set. And this is what it tells it. It says, use this video. It's only 1 minute. And what did I tell you? I knew it was going to mention Rick Astley. It says, Rick Astley, never going to give you up, ... Just kidding. Let's use something shorter. It literally wanted to rickroll its subagent. And that is hilarious to me. But yeah, this is taking a while. So at like 120 tool uses, what you can do is just run it in the background. It went into a mode where it's waiting for the output and it said escape to say something. And I said, but the thing is I can keep it running in the background and just check like, hey, how do you think it's doing? And so it can give me an update. So it just finished the last step, which took by far the longest, and it is done. Everything is done. Every endpoint works. And I literally did nothing except give it API keys. This is insane. This is truly, truly crazy. Okay, so I said, hey, change the domain, and it says everything is done. It's live. The MCP server is live. The search API is live. The stats are live. The video is live. So let's see. We shall see. Okay, so the thing is it's not doing the UI MCP app, which is the whole point. The local does it. The Cloudflare worker does not. And so I need to do that. All right, it says it's done. Let's take a peek. Well. Take a look over here. We finally got it working. It was a literal one. It was like 3 characters of code. So finally, implementing this one thing took more time than implementing all the other infrastructure. And that's because it's not in the training data. It's brand new and all kinds of reasons. But that's where I earn the money, right? Because anyone could prompt the rest of this project, but not giving up and going for it and really pushing these models to do it. That's just what you got to do. Really happy that works now. And yeah, I'm going to set it up end to end and see what we can do. But I think for now, that'll be the end of the video. We set up an entire ingestion pipeline that scrapes YouTube, stores the video on R2, chunks and embeds the transcripts, serves everything over MCP, including the video itself. This is pretty incredible for a couple million tokens and probably around 1 or 2 hours of work. Really happy about it. Check out the package on GitHub. It's open source. And thanks.